Hi Capricorn, welcome back to Wandering Magic. These are going to be your September 2025 messages, and it's going to be for Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising. I think you are the 10th reading I've done, and I don't think one song has come through, like not in the beginning. And immediately I started singing Little Mermaid, Part of Your World. Part of Your World, when you think about that song, like if you really look at the lyrics, first of all, it's a beautiful song, but it is essentially about something being missing. Something's missing in Ariel's life, and she is stuck in the ocean with no feet, and she just wants to walk on land. And she wants to know, she's so curious, like, what else is out there? I know there's a whole ocean in front of me, but there are parts of the ocean she can't go to, which rightfully so. Insert Ursula. But also, there's a whole world outside, because remember, she's half human, half fish. And so she's explored the one part of herself, but she hasn't been able to explore the other part. And so it's wanting, there's a part of her that is lying dormant. It is a sleeping bear, and she's poking the bear, and she wants to wake it up. And so, Capricorn, I ask you, what's missing? What is missing in your life? Or what do you feel like is missing? That could be rhetorical, and you might not have the answer today. But the way that I sang that is, I was gonna say, I wish I would have sang it on here. I'm glad I didn't, because I can't sing, but I do like to sing. And anyway, I feel like with you, Capricorn, I'm always feeling like, singing, if we're talking really briefly about frequencies and high vibrations and versus low vibrations, singing is typically a high frequency thing to do. And so I'm also feeling like lifting your spirits. Now, again, I'm not going to get super deep into what I just said, but just take that with a grain of salt. We're not completely talking about frequencies here. You know what? I'll say this last thing about frequencies and music. The songs that you're listening to, be careful with that too. Like, be careful that you're not listening to songs that are bringing you down or just have low vibrations or low frequencies. So high vibing, upbeat, happy songs, right? Feel good songs, whatever that looks like for you. And so anyway, I digress, but with that, I ask you to ask yourself, what do you feel like is missing from your life? Why do you feel like you are missing something? Is it something within yourself? And ask yourself, are you feeling whole and complete? Because the secret and the answer actually is, you are whole and complete all on your own. We're still rolling. Oh, anyway, I'm recording on my phone and it's dying. Moving on. Let's get into our Kipper message. Darn. Let me see if I could do this 1 second. Okay, problem solved. All right, so, okay, where were we? Kipper messages. Kipper messages say, message of concern, coffin, and expectation. Did you get that? These cards are pretty literal. If you've been listening to me for a while, I've been using them. They're pretty literal, according to the Kipper messages. I try to also get intuitive message with these, but they're so literal that sometimes I'm just like, what do we have here? I'll tell you what we have here. Message of concern. And so it's something, I'm not even getting that it feels like a surprise, but something alarming is going on here in September. And is also coming to an end. Because of this message of concern, it's going away. And it's because of the concern. It's almost like your intuition is right in this case. And so by the end of the year, you see it happen. So the ending of once this message comes in and you feel worried or concerned about it, and it ends in the next 3 months. I'm gonna leave Kipper right here. Because we're gonna skip to our oracle message, which talks about deep knowing. Exactly what it says. Again, a very literal reading here tonight or morning. Deep knowing. You know this. You felt this. This is what I mean. Remember I was like, oh, it doesn't feel like a surprise. Like this person is like, I feel like she's taken aback, but she's like, was expecting news, and then the news came in. Like she got the confirmation, but like she already knew. Does that make sense? Because she had a deep knowing. She had a deep inner knowing. And so for here we have card 43, which is 4 plus 3 is 7. And 7 talks about having patience in the journey, but also self-awareness and reflection. Yes, reflection. Reflecting back on something. Again, the inner knowing of related to the message of concern. How are you tapping into yourself? This is also talking about not trusting yourself or knowing better, but still going for it anyway. Ignoring the little voice inside of you, and it almost feels like a bad decision. Or just like a bad choice. Choices are decisions, aren't they? For a tarot message here, we have the Ace of Swords, the Fool in reverse, and the King of Cups. Can you see that? Okay. So, Ace of Swords, again, knowing better, but also mental clarity. And knowing what you should do, knowing what your options are, but also feeling like you don't want to take that step. You don't want to go in that direction. For some reason, you are hesitating. I'm seeing like the double Dutch thing where you're hesitating to jump in. You're not sure when. But there's this underlining fear that's trying to fester and live here. And now I'm seeing like, you ever see like in a movie, if like, I don't know, maybe like a vampire movie or something, and someone's skin like starts to turn black, and then like it goes like on their fingers, and now it's on like their arm and their hand, like, you know, their shoulder, it's going up their neck, like that. That's what I feel like it's happening here. That's what they're showing me. It's like something is like completely taking over you. But it almost feels like you don't have control, but you kind of like it in a weird way. If I'm even making sense right now, I feel like the messages are coming in really fast and I'm trying to keep up. But basically, you have this fear, and the fear is eating away at you, and it's actually causing you to have delays in your life where delays shouldn't be, or would be better off not there at all. For some, this is it's the King of Cups. Did I say king or knight? Interesting. So the King of Cups, he is, and you don't have to be a he, but I'm just describing here. And I want you to see if you resonate with this at all. The King of Cups is a person that is very reserved in their emotions. They know how they feel. They are in complete control of how they feel. They're not impulsive. They really come from a compassionate place, in their body when they respond to situations, the way they handle things. And so actually, Capricorn, this kind of sounds like your polar opposite sign, your polarity sign, which is Cancer. Regardless, we're going to move on. You're being asked to tap into that if that's not you. Operating from a state of compassion, understanding, but also not being impulsive with the things that you're saying because of what you're feeling, and being in control of your emotions. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Okay. Your final message here from your angels, you have unlikely. So that if that answers your question, unlikely, and then improving health. So whatever the situation is that you're trying to avoid is actually you should face it head on, because that's how you get healthy, so to speak, again. That's how you bring things to you more. This is how you create new beginnings. If you feel like you've been a little stagnant lately, it's because you're halting your growth. You're stunting your growth. You're almost saying, no, stop, I don't want that. And so now what you have is what you created. Your last spirit message is pine cone. And that says third eye, potential and starting. Something has the potential and something wants to get started. You're being asked to go within, maybe check your third eye. What are you refusing to see? Look up third eye and that chakra when it's off balance, and see if you resonate with that. I'm not going to get into this in this reading, but I just wanted to throw that out there, okay? Watch your sun, moon, and rising for any additional messages, and I'll see you next time.